Hey guys, Wages World here. Today is June 30th, 2020. Come at you with the video. Sorry you guys didn't get one yesterday, but some things happened and all that, and I'm not really going to go too much into it. It just take too much time to explain what was going on. But anyway, we're just going to jump into it. We're going to go over the Schumann stuff and a couple other things, plus this right here. We'll go over the some of the comments that were left that were pretty cool. I told you guys I'd show you a few of them. This right here, guys, this was funny to me. It just simply says plume. You guys want to know why it says plume? Because I spelled it wrong on the thumbnail. I thought that was hysterical. Yeah. So yeah, my spelling was a little askew on my last thumbnail. I spelled it P-L-O-O-M. I don't even know what the heck I was thinking. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. Good one, Julie. This one here is from Wendy. She's been here for a while. She leaves comments quite often. I enjoy every one of them. But here you go. It says this sand has my sinuses all jacked up. And what she's talking about is the Sahara, the desert sand that's made its way across. And so yeah, so if you guys are having issues like that in those areas that are being affected, it definitely could be that. The air quality is down a little bit on that. It does affect it. I tried showing you guys that in a previous video, showing you how to even change the color of the rain. So, you know, that is a real issue. But then I get this one. It says, how long is that Sahara dust going to be hitting the USA for? Well, there's really no specific time or start or end date on that. I just want everybody to know that this is very normal, and it will continue over and over and over again, guys. This is something that we experience, but right now it's just a little bit more heavy than what it typically is, and that's why everybody's talking about it. It is the biggest one we've had in 50 years, but we also have to keep in mind that, you know, 50 years really isn't that grand of a time scheme, and when you're talking about the totality of time in nature, okay? But it is something we think is very substantial, because we're not on this earth but 70, 80 years. So 50 years obviously is a long time to all of us. And it is a significant amount, but when you tie it into whatever as far as overall time, it becomes a little bit smaller. So yeah. So whatever your feelings is on that, that is what it is. But this stuff's going to continue. The season of these usually ends right around September, the beginning of September. But, there's really no start and stop date, guys. These things will probably continue to happen as long as the conditions over there in northern Africa and the trade winds stay very similar. We're going to keep getting these waves. So just expect that. Now, if it happens around hurricanes, it can dampen the strength of those. It's actually been tied to kind of preventing some of them sometimes. So it can actually be a good thing. And don't forget that Sahara Desert, usually the trade winds drag it down towards the Amazon. And it actually gives the Amazon some of its needed nutrients for the soil. It's kind of strange, but that's how it works. So, yeah, we'll move on. Okay, guys. This is the Schumann, obviously. And I went back and I was trying to look at this because I started noticing a pattern of sorts. And this is on the 26th, and I think even on the 25th it was there a little bit. But what we're looking at here is a spike on the Schumann, obviously. And we've been talking about these spikes, how they're going to be more and more normal. But the time frame here is what I'm, kind of keying in on here. This is on the 26th, and you see what time, basically roughly what time it starts. In that window right there, right? Between about 10 and 22 or something like that. About the 12 hours there, basically, is what I'm saying. That's on the 26th. There's the 27th. Now, I know it doesn't look like it's a big spike. It's not. But it definitely is a spike. It's an uptick in whatever we've seen. And it tended to start and stop around the same time frame again. Okay? And that's why, I put that up there like that. So it's about, right around 10 or 11 or 12 or whatever. But it kind of stopped right about the same time. We go to the 28th. Same thing. Same time. Notice the relationship between that and the date up here. They're all starting right there. Okay? Now, they might be a little bit more intense. They might be a little bit less intense than the one before or after. but they're happening right around the same time. And then the 29th, that was yesterday. Same exact area of time. So I'm sitting here, I'm trying to figure out, what could be causing that. So what I did was I just went to this, and you can kind of see it better here. And I know that this is kind of shrunk in. If you're on your phone, you might have a little problem seeing that. But there's a 20. I know the dates are screwed up too, but essentially they are the same time every day. And that's what I was trying to show here. Okay? And it's been 4 days in a row. Well, now it's 5. So because we got another spike. Same exact time, guys. Even looking at that right there, you can see how that happened at the exact same time. And they seem to be roughly having the same intensity. Okay? They seem to go up to a certain hertz level and kind of stop. But the ramp up, you can see how the ramp up to the spike is virtually the same. And again, they might not be as intense, but it's still doing the same situation. You see how similar that is? So whatever's causing that has to be, in my opinion, the same source. Okay? Something doesn't happen like that intentionally if it's not coming from the same place. Whatever's causing that's causing it. But I do think it's coming from the same source. I can't tell you what caused that, but I can tell you that something is causing all of that to happen at the same time every day. So, all right, guys, got you over at NOAA, Space Weather Prediction Center. Show you some space weather conditions here real quick. What we're seeing here, guys, we're seeing in the solar X-ray flux, looks like we might have had a small little flare. I don't think it was much of anything. I'm not even sure if it got into B class. It's kind of right on the border. Okay. It may have got, but it's not nothing really that significant. Okay. But what's more interesting here is how the baseline's kind of fluctuating. Okay. See how it's going up and down. I do foresee this to go back up, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. But our geomagnetic activity actually went up a little bit there too. There on the end of the day, just a little, guys. It went up to a 2. It's nothing, okay? Just so everybody knows, it's really not that big of a deal at all. I mean, we're not going to notice anything from this, but yeah. So hold on, just 1 second. Okay, guys, this is the current view of our sun. This is the 193 angstrom, and there's a couple things here to talk about. Now, we haven't really had anything big going on or anything like that. You can see how we're having some loops up over here. Okay. There's something there on the backside that's going on. It's nothing big. But what's more interesting right now are the coronal holes. See how the northern coronal hole is kind of getting larger? And it looks as though it might even be, coming down into like this kind of area. Now, right here at the equator, obviously the equator's here. Yours sits kind of right here, just to the south of the equator. Now you can see how there's some dark patches right there. Okay. Now it's going to be very, very, very short-lived, but we could get some solar wind from that. Most likely we will. But it won't be anything, really, really big or really that significant, just so you guys know. Now, what I'm thinking here is, and I've seen this happen, if you look at this overall capture of the sun here, you can kind of see how this is all kind of growing together. And when we start seeing that, a lot of times we see bigger holes. Believe it or not, guys, we've seen them that big. Okay. And like I said, during the coronal holes, the charged particles escape. Not during, but where the coronal holes are. And how they escape, and I've explained this before, is you got the sun over here, and here's the Earth, okay? And we're connected, right? By interplanetary magnetic field lines. Not just one, but there's more, right? But listen, those particles leave the sun. So depending on how dense they are, that is really what decides basically how fast they're going to move too, probably. I'm not sure if that's exactly how it works, but it definitely has something to do with it. So a more dense particle that leaves the sun would hang close to the middle like this. Okay. Now, one that's not as dense would be out like this, but it's still traveling that same line. So right there where that coronal hole is, we connect to it, and that's how those particles travel. Okay. Now I know we use the word wind. It's not wind like we think. It's not blowing around like you're hearing the wind or a tornado or anything like that. It's simply charged particles moving towards us from the sun. That's solar wind. Okay? And they move along that magnetic field line. But we have to pay attention when those coronal holes are right there and they're right through what they call the Earth strike zone. Whenever they rotate right through us, that's what they call the Earth strike zone. So when that happens, we have to pay attention, because if these holes, I've seen these holes look this small, and then we'll look at it tomorrow, and that hole will have grown like that big. So when that happens, it means we just get a more prolonged event, and sometimes it ends up being stronger, because we'll build up some of that geomagnetic energy, and it seems to be stronger. So we'll keep an eye on it. But this right here is why I was talking about the solar X-ray flux, that I think that it's probably going to start going up a little bit. I don't think this is an official sunspot yet, but we have to keep in mind, like I was talking about in my previous video, the parallax effect. Okay? Not to mention that thing will probably grow in strength. I can't say that it will, 100%, but it looks like it's pretty healthy, and it looks like it might hang on there. And the parallax effect is basically, when it's here, it looks smaller than what it would when it's right in front of us, because we're looking at a sphere. Okay? So if we were to not move the sun and we were to go to the side, this would be look a lot bigger, dead on, when you're looking at it straight on. That's called the parallax effect. And we see that a lot with coronal holes, with anything you see on any ball, actually, even right in front of you. You can do that. You can do that test yourself. You can take a basketball and take a magic marker and just draw on the side of it and just rotate it right in front of you. And as it goes off to the side, you can physically see with your eyeballs that it looks like it gets smaller, but you know that it's not. So that's what I'm trying to say. Now, we also experience that phenomenon that when these sunspots get right in front of where the Earth's at, it tends to weaken. We've even seen them dissipate, like right before they get right to us. They're doing studies and stuff on that. Actually, there's been a couple papers come out on it. So it is a real thing. Stuff seems to dissipate. And why does it happen just with us? That's what's really strange. Because you would think it would do it with all the planets, but it doesn't. But it does. We do experience that with, here on Earth. So, but yeah. So we're going down here, and here's the ACE data. Okay. We're looking at this thing, and there's not a whole lot going on. All right, there's just not. It seems as though everything's starting to bottom out a little bit. We did have a little uptick right here. I'll show it to you here. Here's the Enlil model, okay? And you can see how they're expecting us to have, right now we should be experiencing some extra solar wind. Or density, anyway. That's what this is trying to say. And then it's trying to say it kind of does one of these numbers. And I kind of almost believe it this time, because we are seeing coronal holes. And that's probably why that model's showing that, okay? We could or we couldn't. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so hold on just a second. Okay, guys, this is the Geoelectric field model. This is the one that shows us space weather effect on our electrical grids. You're seeing a little bit of fluctuation here. Nothing real intense, but we are definitely seeing some action, and it could be from that increased solar wind that we were just talking about. And you're seeing little flashes right there. We don't always see that every day, but some of that's to be expected. Okay, it's nothing real intense, nothing to really be concerned about, but it does show that we're getting a little bit of activity. Typically it stays that darker blue color, and whenever we see those brighter colors, we know that there's some action going on. Now, don't be fooled by this either. You're seeing a little dark spot in there. That's the Appalachian Mountains. Okay? Make no mistake, it's getting action too. The way this model just interprets data, that's why it misses right there. So yeah. But anyway. Alright guys, this is over at spaceweather.com. Again guys, go check them out. I'll leave a link. These guys do a good job over there. Actually, they're talking about the sunspot I was just talking about. So anyway, yeah. But we'll skip that part. This right here is Comet NEOWISE. Now, this is going to be a significant story because of what's going on around this thing. Now, I've shown you guys where it was at here on Soho, if you guys remember. This is LASCO C3. It's the same view I show you guys all the time with the black and white and the red. But this one is the same view, but it's zoomed out. It's got a brighter viewing area, okay? But what we seen was, and I was showing you guys before, how Comet NEOWISE, came into the picture here, came into this field of view, and it stayed there for a few days, okay? And then it went on and off out of view. But that, that's not a big deal. But what is a big deal is, if you guys look, and they talk about this in this article, the brightness of it. Okay, so you start here on the 22nd, and you get up here to the 27th, you can see how much brighter it got. Now, there's a lot of talk about what's causing that. Now, that's a good thing and it's a bad thing, They're saying that once this thing comes around the sun and gets out of the glare of it, we're going to be able to see it with our naked eye. It's that bright. Now, it'd be in the evening sky, I guess is what they're saying. So, I'll keep you updated on that as that gets closer. But this thing brightened really, really quickly. Like 8 times brighter than what it was in 5 days. So, we seen Comet Atlas. Atlas did the same thing, and so did Comet Swan. It got brighter, and it got brighter really, really quick. And what that meant for especially Comet Atlas is that it was breaking up. Okay, it was having, reactions inside its core. And that's why it was getting brighter as it was getting closer to the sun. The solar wind and stuff was just blasting it. And eventually it just broke up, if you guys remember. Swan did basically the same kind of thing. But they're saying this one is getting brighter, and it got bright really quick. But we have to be concerned here as far as, I don't want to use the word concerned because nobody's concerned, but we have to pay attention because this could, break up again. With it brightening that quick, nobody's 100% on whether or not anything's going to go on with this comet. If it does break up, there's nothing to worry about for us. It's just we want to be able to see it when it comes around because it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you guys got kids and this happens, take them outside, let them see it, point it out. This is stuff that I used to do when I was a kid, and we've gotten away from that because of technology. Kids just seem to have their heads stuck in their phones and stuff all the time, and frankly, I do the same thing. I catch myself doing it all the time. I'm just being honest. I have to stop myself and put my phone down. It's like you have to make a conscious effort because we're so tied to our phones now. It's crazy. My daughter even has a neck ache today, and I told her it's probably from the way she slept. Plus, she's always got her head down in the phone. Here in about 20 years, I guarantee you the medical field is going to see a great, huge uptick, if they haven't already, in neck injuries. I'd lay money on that one, guys. But anyway, so if you guys are looking into going into any kind of field, go be a neck surgeon. But yeah, this here it's going to be a story, okay? Regardless if it makes it through or not, this is something, because this brightened really, really quick. I think this article said it brightened like 8-fold in 5 days. That is crazy. And it's bright enough now we can see it with our visible eye, but the sun's glare is keeping us from being able to see it. This is what Comet Atlas did, okay? So, that's the concern with this one. Again, I use that concern word very lightly there. We don't have nothing to be concerned with other than we won't be able to see it. That's it. But yeah, so I just wanted to show you that real quick. And guys, please go over and check these guys out. Show them some love. go there and read this article. I'm not going to read it because I think they deserve the traffic for it. It's a really interesting article. It really is, and it does put it into perspective very, very easily where people can understand it. It's written in such a way that everybody can understand it. So don't be afraid to go over here and check this out, spaceweather.com. And again, let me say this too, guys. I don't know these guys. I just appreciate their webpage here. So, all right, guys. This is Mr. MBB3's page. I'm just going to show you this page real quick, and this is where I go look at the Schumann. If you look down here on the bottom right, there's a Schumann resonance link. Guys, go check his page out. I mean, you can go to the UV readings for every day. It's got the power outage maps. He's got a sky phenomenon link and stuff here. That's watchers send him pictures, tons of them, and they go into his gallery, and he even makes slideshows a lot of times, and it's some really cool stuff. Great sky phenomenon stuff they catch. It's awesome. Right along with his UV reading stuff. Just great work. And, guys, go check it out over there. Most of you guys probably already do. I get that. But, I want to give credit where credit's due, and he does a great job. So I'm going to click on this Schumann link. We're going to take a look at the most updated capture we got here of the Schumann. And as you can see, that's that second spike I was showing you guys. That's the 5th day in a row that we had a spike right around the same time. Okay? They all seem to be starting right about that time frame. Okay, right around 10, 11, 12. Okay, they don't always last the exact same amount, but they do tend to stay around the same time frames. Okay, we'll keep an eye out now. If it happens again, it would be over here. Okay, that would make it 6 days in a row. So I do think whatever's causing this is the same source, whatever that source may be. That's to be determined. And we are still seeing our coded line. It's in there. We just can't really see it a whole lot real easy right now because guess what? Our frequencies are up. Okay. You can see where all the green is. That is, it's hiding some of that stuff, guys, that we can't see. Just on the tool. I mean, anything that's, frequency, it's there. We just might not be able to see it on this tool. I did find that this was kind of interesting too. That's actually below our 7.83. Okay, that's a more intense signature at a lower hertz level. So that can be good, that can be bad, just depends on what's going on. It's all normal, okay, but this stuff here that we're seeing with these spikes every day, that's not something we typically see. Okay, I know I've been talking about things on an uptick, and they are. But now if we're seeing the same spike every day right around the same time, at least a similar spike right around the same exact time, we got to take notice of that. And we have to really pay attention to that because, like I said before, the person that figures this thing out 100% is going to figure all of it out. That's just the way that it is. Okay? So, yeah. And if you guys want to know more about this, the first person I send you guys to is Mike and Cindy over Evolutionary Energy Arts. That's pretty much where I learned a lot of what I'm talking about here with the Schumann. They're good at what they talk about. They're very good people. And like I said, I was supposed to do a video or a live stream with them yesterday, and it couldn't happen because things happened here where I was at. So, we've been trying, for probably 2 months now, trying to get together or something. And, I've had to cancel a few times. I think Mike had to cancel once or twice, and Mike and Cindy, and it just, yeah, it's like something don't want us to do a show together. So if we do a show, I will win. I'm gonna say that win, not if, because we will. I'll give you guys a fair warning on that so you guys can check it out because I do think it would be a great thing for everybody. I think we all can learn from each other. So. That's what I would say to that. Yeah, guys. So we'll go ahead and end it there. I'll try to come back tomorrow with another video, and we'll see what we got. God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.